What's up, people? I'm Ethan.
And I'm Court.
And in today's video, can you not embarrass me?
I don't know what I did.
Doing some weird things. Oh, what was this? Next thing you know, she'll be like this. What's up, people? So in today's video, we're gonna talk about the passport bros and our thoughts on them, or it in general, and what is it and how we feel about it, stuff like that. I know very little about them. From what I get from watching them is basically these black guys got their passports.
Is it only black guys?
I think it's from what I've seen, it's black guys. These men, preferably black, got their passports because I guess they're tired of the women in the United States or the West or whatever. They go these other countries to find find a wife because they can't. I guess they can't find it here. I think it's cool. They ain't acting right here. You go somewhere else where they like you. Kind of like with the basketball, you know. They ain't messing with you here. You go over there. You go wherever the people are messing with you. That's kind of how I look at it.
Are these men acting right?
They seem like they're not geeks, but they seem like they're very.
I don't mean geeks, but like, are they doing what a man's supposed to be doing?
I don't know. You guys tell me. But from what I see, what I seen in the videos is that they got stable jobs. They work from home, I guess, but they work in a different country, so they're getting money from the United States. They got decent jobs. That's what I've seen.
Oh wait, these guys are leaving the United States?
Yeah, they're leaving and they're living in a different country. Let's say Brazil, Thailand.
Oh, okay.
And then they're finding these wives that are from the
I thought you meant
countries.
They're leaving the U.S. like for a trip or whatever. They go and find a wife and then bring her back.
I don't know if they bring her back, but
because I know somebody that they did that. The woman.
Mm.
Her husband in Vietnam was abusive to her and her son, and she, like, it was very, very frowned upon for her to get a divorce. Her parents didn't talk to her for a long time. And mind you, she did this when she was like 30-something. She met her husband online, white guy in California. I think he traveled out there a couple times to actually meet her, obviously, and then they got married and moved to California. And she said it's the best thing she's ever done because, and I've met her husband before and he's super nice. He treats her well, takes care of her, treated her son like his own. Her son's super successful doctor now. Like, I mean, I don't know.
How do you feel about guys not choosing women here in the United States, like Western world, and going to a third world to find what they're looking for? Normally, what they said is the women over here are combative, dominant.
Are they only talking about...
They're not feminine. They like to wear the pants, basically. And
are they talking about only black women or just women in general?
I think women in general. But they go to these other countries and then they find these women that are exactly what they were. They're like feminine. Mm-hmm. They cook, they clean, they actually want them.
More of like
they don't like just say boy bye type thing,
kind of more
because you ain't making a lot of money or whatever.
An old school kind of wife, like my grandma.
Yeah.
More so.
I mean, how would you feel about that?
Personally, I don't think it's a bad thing because as long as those men are doing what a man should do, and as long as they're not just going over there and taking advantage of women, because of course when women in other countries, especially third world countries, no, seriously, they get taken advantage of because they are hoping for a green card because they want to get out of bad situations, they want to get out of poverty, and a lot of women in those situations, single, married, whatever, they will do whatever, you know, and they get swindled and whatever, all the time. I went to the Philippines right after college with my school, and a lot of stories were told like that.
So when you say swindle, what do you mean by that? Because if a guy goes over there,
maybe swindle
it's a deal that's being made.
Yeah, well, like, that's different.
Let's say the girl wants a green card, right?
Yeah.
And the Americans over there, it's a deal.
But that's what I'm saying. So
like, she provides something, he provides something.
Okay, so let me give you an example. There are a lot of women in countries like the Philippines, Cambodia, that are sex trafficked. So sex and all those kinds of things are already very touchy. They're just very different experiences for them, and they're different when it comes to that kind of stuff, being intimate and all that. So there were girls that I met that were sex trafficked. I mean, I'm talking from 13 to like 25. And men would they would say, I'll take you to the US, you know, blah, 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 but like want them to show them that they're going to be a good wife, and I'll let you guys use your imagination with that. Promise them that they're going to take them over, they're going to marry them, they're going to take care of them, and then they would just dip. Okay, so that's the kind of thing I mean swindling. But
that's a liar. Like, those guys are liars.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Pieces of S.
That's what I'm saying. They're being, as long as these guys are legit and they're actually wanting a wife and they're going to treat her with respect and take care of her, then I see nothing wrong with it. Because I get it. A lot of women nowadays are more on the, like, I'm independent, they're a little bit more masculine.
I don't need no man.
Yeah.
I work, I pay my bills.
Which I do think, as women, it is important before you get married to be able to take care of yourself. I do think that's important, and I think that for a lot of men that is attractive that you can take care of yourself.
But when do you turn it off?
I don't think it's necessarily turning it off. And I'm probably different in certain ways because I take a more like biblical stance with it, or, you know, back, whatever you want to call it. And that I, as a woman, you know, that's a Christian, I let my husband lead. And
which is
I think a lot of women out there, we can, and I'm saying myself included, we can struggle with that because I was raised to be a strong woman, right? My mom and my dad raised us because they never wanted us to get run over and taken advantage of by a man. They wanted us to be able to stand up for ourselves and do things for ourselves and not be dependent 100% on a man. Because I do think you need to be able to do things for yourself, right? In saying that, it can be hard sometimes, like still to this day, right, in our marriage. It can be hard sometimes for me to like step back and let him lead. And I think sometimes women, we like forget that that is you being a strong woman, is letting that man lead.
A woman of strength.
Yeah, will let
That's
that
where
man
term
lead.
Comes from, yeah.
And I think it's important in most homes to do that, because it's important for your kids and your family to see a man being the leader of the house, and then the woman leads in different ways. I think that's where people don't understand, is that, you know, like, oh, I'm not a leader, I'm not strong, I'm being weak by letting him lead or letting him take financial, you know, whatever. Yeah. And that's not it at all. Like, I wouldn't say anybody would call me weak for cooking and cleaning and letting him be the leader of the house. My dream has always been to stay at home mom. That doesn't mean that once I'm a stay-at-home mom and I'm not necessarily like bringing in money, that I have no say in how we spend our money, you know, or that he's only going to give me $20 and that's all I get all month. You know what I mean? Like, there's different ways of going about doing it. Now, some women like that. They don't want to know all that stuff. They don't want to deal with all of it. And they just like, okay, give me X amount of money to pay the bills and to do the groceries, whatever, go and get coffee, go and take the kids places, but I don't want to know about nothing else.
You want some shoes or whatever, or new clothes, it's fine.
You know, and then there's some men that are fine with you being independent and running the house. So it depends on who you are and what you like and what you want to do. But I do see that a lot of women now, it's my way or the highway kind of mentality, which is a lot of men used to be that way, and then women took on that mentality to kind of survive in a way, because some women really want to climb that ladder, so to say, in the corporate world or the workforce.
Taking apart all the bullcrap, like that you could say, like, oh, he's gonna beat me, all this other stuff that, you know, I say women always bring up, abusive and all this other stuff. I probably would have been over there in Brazil or somewhere, because honestly, I was getting tired of the women here. I'm not saying all of them here, but you can see what they're talking about. And me personally, I'm like, yo, if you ain't on the right, like my program, it's like, it's not gonna work, because the way I move a way where it benefits both of us. But I need you on the same page. If they're, like I said, stand-up guys are working, they're bringing their own dang money, and they want to go over there because they want somebody that is their other half and not somebody that they just go like they have to come to the house and they got to fight them every day, then I completely I agree with them personally.
Well,
but the fact with me, you know, women are getting mad that they're going over there, which I'm like, if y'all didn't want them here, why y'all getting mad if they're going over there? And they're choosing people that are opposite of how you act. I mean, how I feel about the passport bros, I'm like, they can do what the heck they want, they chilling, but I understand like where they're coming from. And most of them, like some of them go to Brazil, some of them go to Thailand, but some go to African countries as well to find a black woman there.
I think
that act completely different than the Western women here.
They're basically telling you by leaving, like, this is what I want. So if you act that way or you become this, then I'll be yours, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'll be your husband, or I will get down on one knee right now. But most of those women, it seems like, don't, from what you're telling me, is they don't want to be that way. So then don't get mad, because it goes the other way as well. Like, as a woman, you wouldn't want some guy that's just laying on the couch all day.
He's a bum.
Yeah. So,
like, she wouldn't want me if I was a bum.
You know, those guys could turn around and say, okay, well,
I don't want a girl that's
then,
gonna argue with me every day.
Yeah. Am I gonna... So then if I just lay on the couch all day, are you just gonna let me lay on the couch all day?
Yeah.
No, you're not. So it goes both ways. Like, I would not marry this guy if he was a bum. He wouldn't marry me if I was screaming at him every day. You know? I know some people are gonna think, oh my gosh, you know,
they're those people, yeah. but
like, I know he wouldn't want me to be his wife if I never cooked.
Yep,
you
should
know?
be gone, kicked to the streets.
And luckily for him, I love to cook, so that doesn't mean I want to cook every day.
Even if she didn't like to cook, she needs to learn how to cook.
Oh my gosh, that doesn't mean I'm gonna cook every day 3 times a day. I don't, but I do cook most of the time, and I also do it a lot of the time because I know he appreciates it and he likes it. It can be a simple thing too, but he likes it. And I think that's part of being in a relationship, and especially a marriage too, is knowing that I'm going to do things that I don't really want to do, but it's for him, and vice versa.
Even boyfriend-girlfriend situation. Because the question that, if they're going over there to look for wives, the question that Western women should be asking themselves is, what are they doing that is so great, the women...
that you're going to leave your home country.
Yeah, what are the women over there doing that are so great and is so valuable that the men are willing to leave their country to go over there to wipe up... And basically, they're in an interracial couple. Seriously. Yeah. So that's why we're talking about this, because it relates to our situation. But what are the Western women should be asking that question? What are the women over there that they're going to are doing, and maybe they should mimic, the Western women should mimic whatever the Eastern women are doing. So
I mean,
things would change drastically if they just learn from...
to put it simply is they're not settling. I wasn't going to settle for certain things in a husband. He wasn't going to settle for certain things in a wife. And I think most of us out there are that same way. And so if you're not going to settle for those things, you're going to go find it if you can't find it. And I get that some women or men, whatever, that don't agree with what these guys do, well, then you're not looking in the right places. And maybe they're not.
You're not taking a deep dive within yourselves and being like, yo, am I on the right path to obtain a husband?
Yeah, because I get it. We can, think that, like, our dating pool or whatever is really small. Like, you're just looking in your hometown, or you're only looking, like, 30 miles out. But at the same time, how many of us are really going into a different state or something to date somebody else? Why even bother going around to all 50 states trying to find somebody in my own country when I know that 99% of the women in this country are going to be have those morals or those beliefs or just everyday, routines that I want out of a wife.
Yeah. And I can tell you right now, from being a man, guys can run these streets and smack all these girls. But when it comes to, when you ask questions, so what would you want in your wife? Oh, that thing flips real quick. They're like, well, I want a woman that's going to be able to take care of our kids, like be able to cook, knows how to manage a home. So when I'm out here working, I come back to peace. The biggest thing is when it comes to getting a wife, guys, like their brain switches from, okay, I'm not just going to smack anything and take anything home to my mom. No, now she has to have some type of standard, which is she's respectful, she respects herself, and she's classy, but she knows how to not be classy when it's the right time.
And I would say being non-combative does not mean that you're quiet and you're hushed and you don't ever stand up for yourself or have a say in things. That just means that every time your husband says something to you, you're not going to snap back at him in a nasty tone. Or let's just say you had a really bad day with your kids at home all day, or you picked them up from school and it was just awful until your husband got home from work. And as soon as he walks in the door, you lay into him because you've had a bad day and why weren't you here sooner? Like, I had to deal with the kids, whatever. You know, I had to do this, this, and this, and now I have to cook, and you just got home, you better do X, Y, and Z. And then he gets obviously frustrated because as soon as he walks in the door, that happens, and then you guys are going back and forth, and instead of like kind of taking a step back and, oh shoot, this isn't his fault.
Hi babe, how was your day?
This isn't his fault. I just had a bad day, and just like step back for a second and be like, oh crap. Because I've done it before, right? And we even have kids yet, but I've had bad days, whatever. He's had bad days. We snap at each other. It's natural because we're the only ones we're seeing most of the time. So, you know, but then I'm like, shoot, like 2 hours later, that was really bad. I shouldn't have done that. And I go up to him and I apologize, or he apologized to me. And we're like, okay, no worries. Like, let's move on. Let's not do that again. You know, that kind of thing. But I think when women and men get combative with each other, then
that's when problems escalate. Our final thoughts on passport bros and what they're doing and everything. I'd say they keep doing what they're doing. You know, if the West women don't get it, that's on them. If they don't want to change or, you know, improve themselves or act like whatever the girls in the East are doing, then they'll forever be single and alone and keep on asking that question, why can't I get a man? Or be mad at guys that are willing to date out of their race or whatever.
Because, I mean, the women can do the same thing if they wanted to, so.
I guarantee that if these women in the West, that they say, flip the switch like immediately, flip the switch, start acting feminine, start acting like exactly how these guys are saying, I guarantee you they'll start getting wifed up. I guarantee it. Because guys, we're not picky. But we are picky when it comes to who we want to deal with for the rest of our life. They're looking at longevity, long term. Like these women are gonna be with me and they're not gonna cause me headaches for the next 40 years or until we die. I applaud you. So those are our thoughts on passport bros and what they're doing. We hope you guys, comment below if you guys have thoughts about it. Because I guess this is a good conversation. I'll say this is a good conversation to have. But yeah, comment below, like and subscribe to the channel. I'm Ethan.
And I'm Court.
And we are out of here.